Hey Zach, here's the third part to this demo. I know these are long, but as you can see, they're covering basically everything. And so let's go ahead and talk about that now. Like if we happen to batch GV production, I just created this as part of the demo. And what's that got? That's got this idea of processing key files and var sheet to batch global variable bulk. All right, so let me explain what we're gonna do. I start by going to a website, one of our websites, Mobile Locksmith Crew, whatever. And I decide to scroll down and hit Sitemap. And lo and behold, no sitemap, right? That means that we don't have any pages on our sitemap. We just started our productions and we don't have any pages on our sitemap. We've got the front end pages and we've got the base global variables, but we don't have the batch global variables. So let's talk about that. How do we do that? Okay, I will do it this way. First, we have to upload, we have two kinds of files to deal with now. Used to be that you had base global variables and then you run out your batch. Now we have a third. Why? Because we have a bridge that takes our base global variables and then creates a key for compression. So the key is going to match large data to small data to compress. And then our batch global variable is going to run off of using the key values instead of using the original values. Okay, so it's going to do a great job of speeding things up and saving a terrific amount of room in the databases. Everything will just be simple. So first we have to generate key files, and then we have to upload them, and then we have to put them on the websites. The websites are expecting the key files. It needs the key to bridge the incoming request to the right data. And it does it really, really fast, but we do need the key on every website. Okay, so it's worth it. All right, so here's what we're going to do first. We're going to drag and drop our key files. So, see this? It's key files. If I look, I've got a var sheet or a key file for each and every one of the websites that I generated with my macro. Now, each one of these key files has all the data necessary for all of those global variables, lots of them. Okay, well, however many, like 860 I'm using right now. So there are 860 global variables worth of information being contained here in the key file. Okay, now it's different for each website. I did auto-generate it. We do have those tools. So for instance, just to show you one thing, just so you can see it. This will make sense in a moment. Okay, let me just do this. If I go to T to HA, the T to HA toolbar has a var sheet duplicator, okay? And it'll say, do you want regular var sheets or bulk global variables, where it's going to actually generate the var sheet for each next website. Why does it need to do that? Well, because even though the var sheet's primarily identical in every case for all the columns, it's not quite, because the company name should be different. We're not going to mix and match company names on one var sheet for one website. We want one company name on that var sheet, one website title on that var sheet, one phone number on that var sheet, and so on. And then our next var sheet is going to be different company name with phone number, with address, and so on. Now, did I really need to create all the var sheets? Do I really have to use company names and phones and so on as variables? No, each website could have its very own real hard-coded information in there, but we like doing all of this because it's fast and easy to control everything this way. All right, so believe it or not, we find this more efficient, and like I said, we've created the tools to make it easy to generate. If you look at the date, timestamp, I generated all of these off of an original in like a minute or two, okay? So it's not an issue. It's really simple, all right? Now I have all those key files though, one for each website, so I do need to upload them. You might think, wait a minute, what about the base global variables? Do we need to start with those? And the answer is, of course not, because they're in the feed files. By uploading the global variable tab in the feed file, we cover the base global variables. Fine, they're done. So the next step that would go with that is the key files. So I'm going to drag and drop these key files here. There's 92 of them. And it'll be done with this pretty quick. However long this is, I don't know, a couple of minutes. It's like halfway through. Let me pause it. Yeah, I have to admit, if you go watching it work, it makes your eyeballs jitter. All right, so they're all uploaded. They are ready to go, okay? So what am I going to do now? I'm going to stick them on the website with the GV Keys uploader, right? And I can download the sample here. Then it's going to say import the key file. What does that mean? That means that there is a master key file. Process the key files. What do you think that looks like? Really pretty simple. Go to the website and make that key file happen. So that's each of those key files, right? From our key file list. 1-varsheet.xlsx, that's this one, right? In the number, in the right order for the website. So I just happen to know that when I generated it from a list of all the company names lined up, all the addresses lined up, all the phone numbers lined up, city, state, zip. So when it generated each next copy of the var sheet, it used each next row of data for all of the company information columns that I selected. So I have a master list. I say use that column, that one, and that one, and that one. And that includes like the Google Map API key, since it could be different for each, it could be like 50 of one key, then 50 of the next key. Or what, 42 of the next key. And then same with the reCAPTCHA keys. Maybe I need to switch reCAPTCHA keys along the way. So I make those columns that need to be attended to when generating this whole stack. Anyway, that way the final result just will match. It will line up properly. Okay, so there's my main file, right? And it's going to put these all up on these websites. Okay, so let's just do that real quick and get that done. So I'm going to import that. Go grab it and just drag it and drop it and import it. Okay, it's going to take care of that. It'll be done in a couple of minutes. I should do the whole inspect site thing. You can't do it afterwards, really, because then you miss the timing. It's not timing what happened before I opened it, so it's too late. Anyway, I'm going to pause it, walk off. We'll come back here in a minute or so. It'll be done. Okay, it took like 15 minutes to do that part. I just got back in. So let me see. It did create the content for the global variable keys. So it's trying to load the pages. Just a lot of data. There's like 413 rows in there. Let me just skip it. So I'm just kind of showing this in PHP MyAdmin from one of the websites. It's not like you have to go look, but I'm just showing you so you can see it. GV keys 413. All right, so we did 2 of the 3 parts. We've got the base global variables, 860 of those. Now we've got the global variable keys, 413 of those, because it's not counting cross in this sense, it's counting rows, right? So for base global variables, rows represents the same thing as columns for batch. Global variable keys is just straight rows, okay? Probably dominated by cities, like 413 cities. Okay, so now what we need to do is just create batch global variable values. It's right here. That's going to be the sitemap compressed output, but the sitemap for each of the websites. By that, I mean, when I come to the website and I check out the sitemap page, this will no longer be blank. It's blank here anyway, because we haven't produced results, but we're going to next, okay? Now, this is going to be the trickiest part of the process because we haven't figured out a better way to do it yet. It's not really hard. It's just kind of a little bit of a pain. You'll see why in a minute. Let me see. I think I'm just going to go ahead and close everything else to get out of my way. Close other tabs. Okay. So we did the key file process. Now we're going to create the sitemap. So we got to upload var sheets. Okay. We produced all the var sheets already. I told you before. So it's basically the same thing, but it's for each different company, right? And so we're going to upload. There's a button for upload multiple var sheets. Drag and drop and then hit the process button to process them. Okay. Control A. Now that's a shorter file. It's smaller. You probably see it by the file size. So this will move faster. Let me F9 it. There was like no point. It's already done. All right, process. I hit the process button and wait a little bit. It actually has to convert all this data into SQL. Okay? It's not just maintaining the files this time. It's going to create the output we want in each case onto each website. One var sheet for this website, another for that, another for that. But it's going to produce the number of results we ask of it, website by website by website. It's going to do it automatically. And so we just simply have to wait for it to process that. It's going to show us a bunch of green check marks when it's done. I'll just pause it and wait. You don't have to hit this. You can just wait. Walk away. Get some coffee or whatever. Come back. Okay, we're back. Yeah, it took, I don't know, 4 minutes, something like that. You can look back at the clock and see. It took a little while. But anyway, there you go. There's our green check marks. Everything's good to go. So it's ready. Now what we have to do, here's going to be the hard part. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of a hard part. We have to kind of fudge something to get it to come out right. We are going to process our var sheets to batch, global, variable, bulk, right? Or whatever, batch and bulk kind of mean the same thing. So all I'm saying on this file, you'll see in a minute, okay, is that we're going to go to this domain right here. We're going to use the var sheet ID that got assigned by the system, okay? So it's not the ID we added. It's not in the order that we wanted. It's its own ID. That's kind of a pain. And we're going to create bulk global variable table rows. How many rows? This is like sitemap rows. This is exactly sitemap rows. Well, however many you want, website by website by website. I'm making it all 250. You can completely randomize these numbers. It could be 250 or 5,000 rows in your sitemap, or 12, whatever you want. In each case, for each website, are you starting with the first sitemap entry, like the first row in the sitemap? Or did you already create some sitemap entries in some of these websites and then you added new ones down here? So it might be adding more pages up here, but leaving them number one down here because they're brand new. So maybe the starting ID for some of these needs to start like at 251 because you're coming back, right? If I already did 250 and I don't want to delete them, but I want to add more, I'll start at 251. So then I can do like that, you know? And that might go for like this first stack I did, who knows how many. Maybe 25, the first 25 websites was like that, but then after that, these are all new ones. Well, I want to add to the first ones and create the new ones, okay? Could be what I'm doing. Well, in this case, there is no sitemap because I dumped the whole load in order to show you guys how it worked, okay? Now, what's with the other columns up here? They're just columns that we don't use, but they physically have to be in the array because this process was borrowed from a different process we have. And instead of trying to reverse engineer the whole thing, we just said, copy the whole array, top to bottom, all the way through column S and all the way down. But here's going to be our challenge. We have to get the right var sheet ID numbers for each of these domains in order. Okay, so we're going to have to play with this a little bit. It's best to do this the way I see it so far in CSV. So I've got this file here called reorder CSV. If I open it, maybe we'll kind of see what's going on. I have to remember how I did it, but I think I remember how I did it. Yeah, that's got to be about right. Yep. 1 matches with the 13 var sheet and they gave it a time date stamp. So I just had to break it up. Okay, I think I know how I'm doing that. All right, here we go. Delete. Okay, let's do it. I got my CSV file, but I'm going to open it with Notepad. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not. All right, here we go. I'm going to come back here and check out my var sheets, right? Bulk process. Whoops. I'm doing too many things at once. Hold on. Okay, this is where we're going to paste our data. So first, though, let's look at the var sheet. Okay, so we've got 92 entries, right? Of course, because we uploaded 92 var sheets. We can display all of them, okay? Well, up to 100, which is cool. So here we go. Now, this is what it did, and this will make sense to you when you see it. It took our var sheet, whatever the name was, 69-varsheet.xlsx. It replaced that with a date timestamp, okay? And it put an ID number on the front. And that's the ID number it gave it, right? Don't ask me why it's starting with 2 instead of 1. I don't know. And it ends with 93. And whatever. Just reading from the row. Whatever the case, we know that the first one's got to match the first website. But that doesn't work, right? Because this is 69. Where's 1? Matter of fact, the best way to find it would be what? Control F _1. There we go. So the first one's really number 26. This is kind of a pain, right? Because we have to somehow get this order to match. All right, so I'll show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to highlight it. Just kind of play around with it a little, get it to stop. There we go. All right, copy. Okay, come to my CSV file. Let me see. I got to put it in a couple of places here. Boom. All right. I don't need this. Delete. And, yeah, I don't need any of that because it's just the var sheet ID I need, right? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it through. Again, this is one of those things that you don't do very often. And so it's easy to forget exactly what you're doing, but that's okay. Bear with me here. Because if it's, this hard for me, then you're just seeing me solve it and you'll totally get what's going on. Okay, I only need the ID in the right order, right? So I need to really sort by this number that's in here. So I want to separate that out from the number that's in there. Does that make sense? Okay, since the first number matches twice, I don't really need it twice. Delete. Okay. Now, I think I know exactly how I want to do this. Okay. Let's see if we get this right. Delete. I want to... Okay. Control C, Control H, Control V. I want to delete all of that. Replace all. There you go. All right. Now I got 2 columns of numbers. Okay, this will be easy enough. Yeah, you would think I would have a macro for this. I just don't. Control C, Control H, Control V. Replace it with a comma. Replace all. There we go. Close. It's a CSV file. Comma separates cells. There we go. See what happened? I got numbers and numbers, don't I? Great. All I have to do is reorder this. Data. A to Z. Yes, expand the selection. There. Now I got it. I know the right var sheet ID for each of those var sheets in the right order, top down. See that? Wasn't so hard after all. But yeah, just had to stop and think through the gymnastics real quick. We'll come out with the macro for that pretty soon. All right, so I'm going to take that list right there. I'm going to paste it right here because that's the right order of events. Make sure it matches, and it does. Okay. Now I'm going to want 250 rows for each of these websites. Now that's rows, right? And that's going to be times whatever it was, 20 pages in each of those, right? And the starting ID is going to be 1 all the way down. I already know that that's how I want it to go. So, okay. I can save the changes, cancel, save that way. And that way I don't have to save any other way. All right, here we go. In this time, I want to actually time this. It's more fun that way, right? Let's do it. We're going to process. Where is it? Make sure we get the right one. Var sheet uploader, so we're going to bulk process. That's different than the batch global variable and process batch global variables. If you already had a bunch of batch global variable Excel files, You can upload them here, drag and drop. These are the bigger files, right, with all the sitemaps in them already. Say you already had 92 Excel files that had 250 rows each. You can drag and drop those here, and then you can use the file here to import those and have it actually copy over those batch global variable file rows for each of the websites. In our case, we're saying create them for us. I don't have them already done. I want the system to create them for us. By the way, you got to stay on this page a minute before it finally loads up, all these, right? Okay, so it's done with that. So bulk process, right? Okay, I didn't need to go there first, I just did. Bulk process. Here's where we do our job, okay? We're going to go A through S and all the way down to the bottom, which is like right there. Shift click, copy. I copied all of those header rows, right? Paste, boom. Ooh, that's it, right? Let me do this bit, inspect. Go to network, okay? And let's go ahead and process the data now, right? I'm processing. Okay, it warms up in the beginning because it has to get this whole thing going. Then it's going to kick in. And this time the bit of fun that we're going to have is each separate row is literally going to be a different job it does. So we're going to get to watch it. Label the status 200 for each row it does. Okay? So we're going to see 92 cases of 200 if everything works out, right? That's the idea. Now, it does take some time to start up in the beginning. I forget that too, because again, we don't do this very often. I mean, this is, we're producing the sitemaps for the websites, and we're doing them all right now. For 92 websites, we're creating 250 rows into the database. We're creating into the sitemaps, right? All right, I'm going to pause anyway, get a refresher on the coffee, wait for this to warm up, come back. I don't know, it'll be a minute. I always say it'll be a minute. Forget how long, but we'll see. Oh, I came back and double checked and thought, why is it taking so long? And then realized I totally missed the header. Thought I hit it, but I actually missed it. And it's like, no way. So I just re-hit it now, literally. A second before I hit record. So I just saw this pop up, which is the beginning of it, right? So like I said, it'll take a couple of minutes to warm up. But anyway, then it'll get going. So I'm just waiting for it to start. See where it says status is pending, right? That's because it's beginning and the status is pending. As it gets warmed up and it starts going, those are the points where it's going to say status is 200 for each individual row as it does it, as long as it has success with each individual row. All right, so that's what we were not seeing before. I came back and hit process data and then realized nothing was coming up, and I went and double checked my original file. And what I had done was, I think I missed this, so that was just the issue. Somehow anyway I missed it because it didn't start. Well, it's starting. I can hear my computer working on it. You do have to stay on the page while this works. It does use your stuff locally as it goes. Okay, there you go. 1.3 minutes for the first one. Now that I got it going, it's 1.3 minutes. Okay, it's going to take however long each, but whatever. I'm going to let it work. If it takes longer than I thought, I forgot why, but there's got to be a reason. I'm just going to let it work. Okay, and I might be doing these at 1.3 minutes each. I actually totally forget why. But let's take a look anyway, because, hey, this is fine. It's automatic. EmergencyLockandKeyCenter.com. Let's just take a look. EmergencyLockandKeyCenter.net. That's the next one down, right? So it must have done that one. Okay, there it is. Let's see if we're right. We should be. I'm going to hit Sitemap. There you go. Look at this. It's here. It's our 250 rows. Sure looks right. I'm going to click on one that says Denver is the bottom one. Oh, I'll come up and hit Phoenix. Lock installation, serving Phoenix, Arizona. That's our stuff. Phoenix lock installation, right? Lock installation, serving Phoenix, Arizona. Lock installation.html. Whatever we wanted for the service, whatever we wanted for the city, service, and the keyword, right? That's how it's lining up those columns, unless we do something different with them. Phoenix. It's Phoenix. Phoenix Locksmith Services. All our stuff is here. Phoenix Google Map. It's not an image. It's a real map feed. Okay. Everything's here. Let me try something real quick. If I go to an inner page, stays on Phoenix. Phoenix. Everything's about Phoenix. Here you go. Emergency Lock and Key Center serves Phoenix. Call now. 866-697, whatever it is. The alt codes. Emergency Lock and Key Center accepts all major credit cards. Emergency Lock and Key Center provides Phoenix emergency locksmith services. You know, whatever you wanted, right? Automotive services. So it provides Phoenix automotive locksmith services. Provides Phoenix commercial locksmith services. Okay. Everything, all the call outs and stuff are here. And even if I go to the sitemap, right? As we all know, it stays right here on the website and shows just the pages that are right here in this section, right? So all of these are going to be those pages that we wanted, okay? Very much what we were thinking, okay? So there we have it, you know, just to make the point. It's all here, okay? It's a funny color for a submenu, but hey, I could fix it. That's an easy enough one, right? And yeah, I mean, all of this works. Emergency locksmith, automotive locksmith. Let's say emergency, and I click on it. It goes to the emergency lockout service page, right? If I had links in here, like that one right there, it goes to the front page of this section right here, staying on Phoenix, Arizona. Right? In the Phoenix Lock installation section. Everything's HTTPS secured. We're all good to go. All of this stuff links through to where it's supposed to link through to. Okay? Everything's just totally cool here. Alt tags on everything. So, yeah, it's doing the job, right? I forget why it's 1.3 minutes in this case instead of, faster, but I guess I don't care. 1.3 minutes, it's doing the work. It's hundreds of global variables. All of these things have 860 global variables. So talk about total pull for uniqueness and interesting layouts, right? We have so much room to make all this the way we want it to be, okay? And while we're at it, I mean, close tabs to the right. I mean, you can just go to the next website, right? Well, let's see how far down it did get so far. It's done a few of these websites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6? Yeah, it's hard to see up here what it's doing. So it's one of the emergency ones at the top for sure. Where were we? Lock and Key Center, Lock and Key Center, Lock and Key Center, lockandkeycenter.com. See that one? Fine. Yep. So everything's here. Let's just go check the sitemap. There you go. Minneapolis eviction service. Eviction service serving Minneapolis. Minneapolis eviction service. And yeah, everything's here the same way. It's all about emergency lock and key center provides emergency locksmith services for Minneapolis residents and businesses. Okay. And residential and commercial. It's saying all the right things and all the right alt tags for all the right purposes. And I can click on it. And it's there. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Everything's here. Alt tags work. Title tags work. Everything looks good, right? Okay, I think you see what's going on. We're literally doing this at a level of control nobody has, right? You can't do this with WordPress. You can't do this with Joomla. You can't do this with Weebly. You can't do this with Wix. Can't do this with anyone. But here, you can have your own server, buy your own stack of domains, create your own cPanels automatically, upload the templates automatically, upload content variations automatically, images, Upload sitemaps automatically, covering everything you wanted to cover. And all of your data is totally controlled, case by case by case. Could we be making 92 websites for one company nationwide? Yeah. Well, we kind of do anyway when we run them through a dispatch center. It's the same thing, right? And then anything about questions like, well, how well will they rank? The answer is, what do you think? We can do all the on-site stuff. So we still need off-site stuff done, right? People need to go and create backlinks to the websites. Now, do you have to create backlinks to all the websites? No. Why? Because we can interlink the websites. We can have our partners in the footer. Rapid Unlock Dispatch, Pro Unlock Service. These are two of the other websites. If I go somewhere else, not here, I just mean somewhere else, like totally somewhere else. SpeedyUnlockCrew.com. And scroll down. We got partners down here. Rapid Unlock Crew and Pro Unlock Center. Different partners, right? And even if I go from one to the next, okay, and I just follow the links from site to site to site, I can keep doing it. I can keep going. Mobile Unlock Crew, right? I can get link juice through all the websites any way I wish. I can put links in the content that leads to a partner site for some reason that seems to make sense, right? If I'm citating, if I'm copying content, I can put a citation like right here. This could click as alt text to the original site with the citation for it. Okay, so that Google sees me give credit where credit is due. Do you get it? And it goes on and on and on and on. I can literally make this empire of websites and have them interlinked. So now all we need are some people to go out and create backlinks to some of them, and the rising tide will raise all ships. Okay? Because they're all connecting to each other. There's your point. They're all sharing some level of that juice, right, through themselves. And we could link to our other websites for other industries. You know, we could find a way to have pages point at the different industries, right? There you go, though. All of this is totally under our control. If I decide to come back later and create new images and upload them to overwrite, piece of cake. I'll just generate my new images and then go and run them up with the Varsheet installer, the same tool here, for those, you know, to overwrite the originals and just let it roll. And there you go. It will totally overwrite the images, and it will take no time at all. Like I said, I did 8,000 images. I uploaded 8,800 spread across 110 websites, and it got done taking care of all of those installations for me with subfolders, with images in subfolders to match my feed files. And it got all that done for me in 7.5 minutes. I don't know what to say. I mean, it took like an hour to generate all the images we cared about, and then like another 10 minutes to upload them and spread them across all the websites the right way. So then we had all these totally unique images across all these websites. I mean, how's Google going to argue with that? We can have them come up on their own sitemaps the way we want. Totally up to us. All right, I think you see enough to understand what's going on here. It's just insane, okay? I don't know any other way to put it than it's insane. Just incredible power. And yeah, we can expand on it forever at the cost of $10 per website. I mean, generating images is cheap, right? If you can get 10,000 in an hour, you know, and it just costs a guy to hit a button and let the computer roll. I mean, that's like $6 for 10,000 images wholesale. How's that for insane, right? Just getting it done. So it's just a matter of setting up the project in the first place. But yeah, we can do projects of any size, any scale for anyone now at this incredible speed, right? Let me show you one other thing to see if I can give you some sense of scope, okay? Last thing. I'm going to just let that run, right? It'll run until it's done. That's all. It'll just run until it's done, take care of all those other websites, and that's it. How's that for nuts? Okay? So it's not like I have to do anything. No, I don't need to do anything there. All right. I'm just going to let that run. I have to make sure that this page stays open, and that's it, okay, until it's done. I think I do. It may take care of itself when I leave, but I don't know, so I'm not going to make a mess of that. Still, if I can get 90 sites done in an hour and a half or 2 hours just by leaving that open, yeah, no problem. All right, last thing I want to show you right now. I think you'll find this interesting. We have so many more tools than you've seen that do really, really amazing things. I'm going to show you something called the Pages Maker macro. Only where did I put it? There's the tokenizer. That's awesome. Once you understand how that works, that's incredible. Yeah, it's here. Okay, fine. It's here. Pages Maker macro. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, I put it here then. Here's what it is. I have 11 HVAC documents marked version 1 through version 11. What do you think that means? It means that the first one is the original writing. It's where we got the contents organized in the first place and created it. Now, when we created it, we also tokenized it, right? So I'm sure you see that, right? All the variables. Okay, so we tokenized the content. It's got lots and lots of variability that we want to import into our Excel files for the pages and for the variables for the content and so on, right? We have all of these really, really cool. Look at how rich that is in terms of variability. That's pretty insane, right? And we have bullets, by the way. I want to point that out about bullets. So we have a headline, an H1 tag, like this one. And then we have a paragraph. Somewhere down here, we're going to have an H2 tag or so and more. By the way, you know what these are? Page breaks. The difference between page 1 and page 2 is 5 underscores. So this is an H1 tag for page 2. Then we have paragraphs. And then if we have any H2 tag, it'll be here. And it'll go on until page 3. Okay, there it is. Matter of fact, how many are there pages? Let me see. Control F, find what? Control V. Just find all, really. What? I just want to say find what? Find all. Find in main document. Okay. It found 15. And since there's one to separate the first page from the second, then there should be 16 pages, unless there's maybe something at the very bottom. I don't think so, though. Okay, no. Now, here's the next thing. This is using different columns, right? Keyword 1, keyword 2, keyword 3, keywords that relate to each different column. Another thing about this, where do I go? Like review, I think, for word count, right? This is massive. There are 8,443 words. You know, it's a pretty big project. Spread across 16 pages or so, right? So what do you think the other files are here? That's version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, version 6 of the same thing. What if we want to import this to generate our Excel files for our var sheets? And beyond that, we want to get the content into the pages. Watch this. I put this here on purpose, okay? It's called the Pages Maker macro. It's got a lot of tabs. Some of them you'll know, but I just want to point out how this thing works. I'm going to refresh the tool so it dumps whatever old job I had out, okay? Then I'm going to go to the pages where it's going to put them. Now, here's the thing about the pages. I already had a model I downloaded from the website. When we created the content, the assumption is somewhere you've got some kind of a model for this, where you've been putting the job together, and so you're starting to get the pieces together. So all I want to say is this. Let me drag this in to make the point. Okay? I have a page 1, page 2. I kind of knew I needed 16 pages, right? That's how I gave the job, or even 17, except that one of these is terms and conditions. All right? Or the contact page. Something here doesn't need content. So I knew that I was going to have the content done, and I knew what kind of browser titles I wanted. I knew what the meta descriptions were probably going to be, or I could fill them out later. Doesn't matter. But anything I already put in there, I put in there. Like maybe I had the sidebar widgets done before the content. Maybe I already knew kind of what my browser titles would be, or maybe not. But anything I happen to have at the ready, that's my point. I can copy this whole thing, Control C, Well, actually, I copied it from my model pages, right? So I just had the model here and I copied it and I stuck it in for pages. Why? Because that way when I run this out, it will fill the content in for page 1. Then it will scoot on to page 2, put the content in there. Scoot on to page 3 and put the content in there. And it'll do it without messing with anything else that's in here. That's the beauty of it. It won't delete all the other stuff. Because what if it did content and you had to fit everything else in around it? You're back to manual. You have to go put it up in the pages on the site. We don't want to do that. Okay, so let's create the pages now. What's the word path? It's where we are. What's the header size maximum? About 55 characters is usually as long as a header gets. That's just so it understands headers for coding purposes, to know how to put the right kind of coding for headers differently than paragraphs. So we're going to let this run, and guess what it's going to do? It is literally going to go through all 11 Word docs, and it's going to pool this information together properly, and it's going to set up our variable Excel file with all of our global variables on it from the contents here. And it's going to lay out the pages coding for our pages so that it's done for pages. Like to import is a feed file. I don't need to keep the last item I copied. Okay, let's look back at pages again. This is like your pages tab, right? That's my point. Do I really need all of these codes for the pages tab? No, because it's really this, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. But this is my base pages tab, so I could delete this stuff. Here's my point. Look at content 1. Look at that. It already figured out all of the coding with all of the variables, with all of the names that we were generating for this entire project. It put all the page 1 content here. And then the page 2 content, page 3 content, see that? Page 2 went all the way across to page whatever it needed to. Wasn't going to be any content for page 17 because it's prices. It's just an image there. But it has it for page 16 the way you would expect. Okay, here's my point. Base global variables. Key file. Aha. Look at this. I've got it all here. It put this together for me. Every option for every one of these going all the way across to the end. And if there are any left over at the end, I can fix them real quick, right? Like if some of them are off, I'll go figure out how it got off and fix it. Won't take long. It just means that somebody put an extra cell somewhere where they shouldn't have, and I'll be able to fix it pretty quick. Point is, all this work got done. Look at that. Page 1, header 1. These are 11 variations of page 1, header 1, and they have 2 variables each. Page 1, paragraph 2, which is really that sentence. Variables all throughout. I'm creating a level of variability you can't believe, and setting it up for key files as well. Now, there are columns that I need to insert. That is front-end columns. Okay? Like these. I just know I need these, or at least these. Yeah. All right, so not that you'll understand this yet. You know, I'd have to explain it to you still. Key file. Yeah, that's a key file, right? Sheet 3. Columns insert, compress final. Oh, yeah. I got to do compress first, I think. All right, one of these I got to do first. I forget. I'll go back, double check. But now I just hit SQL compression. Yeah. Okay, and it's giving me, oh yeah, along with the output. Output is where I'm going to put my columns to insert. Oh my God, I cannot believe how cool that is. I keep forgetting. Copy. Output. This is my var sheet. Oh, it got it. It got my columns to insert. That's right. I forgot that it does that on its own. All right, so, and the compressed version, which is numerical variation on the theme, okay? Which is why it's compressed, why it's so fast to look up individual items. This did all my work, okay? This did all my work. It figured out my pages tab. Now I can paste that in, have my other tab for bulk subdomain list, or the subdomain list, and I can run the row filler to just fill this in automatically, and then I can paste in my different company columns and stuff, and I'm done. You see how fast we went from the copywriter's writing to organized information in Excel for variables and organizing the pages tab for the feed files, which is such a pain to deal with. But not now. We can import our feed file with the pages tab now. It's done, really. Okay, all the other stuff we just pasted in from the other project steps, like what sidebars we're going to use per page. Okay, I hope you found that interesting. This is the stuff that we're doing now at this level. So we can do massive productions very efficiently now. Okay.